The boomerangs have been used for thousands of years by the Aboriginal people. The Native Americans used to use them. And even over in Egypt, back in 1982, they came across an ocean-going vessel that was 3,500 years old. They found a pair of golden boomerangs and some kangaroo fossils on board the ship. They think maybe the Egyptians might have been out here in Australia at some point in time, or doing some trade perhaps. Traditionally, the boomerang was made from the root of a eucalyptus tree. They're very heavy. These days, we make a lot of our boomerangs out of plywood. These ones are made from packing case, merely so they don't kill too many tourists. There's two kinds of boomerang. There was a returning boomerang and a non-returning boomerang. Now, the English like to joke that the non-returning boomerangs were just called sticks. Pretty much they were like a cut-off version, like a big piece of wood or a big piece of 4x2. They would literally just throw it at the kangaroo or the emu and hopefully bang it on the head or break its legs or something. With the returning boomerang, you can imagine all us hunters creeping up to a field filled with birds and parrots. Some of us would creep round to the far end of the field and string nets in between the trees. The rest of us would throw our returning boomerangs, and the boomerang would do a circle like a bird of prey or a hawk, and the parrots would think the death was coming from above, and they'd fly underneath the boomerangs and end up in the nets at the far end of the trees. Now, the women would use them for cutting up meat or digging through the ashes of the fire to get their food off. The men would use them like a sword or like a club in combat, and the children would just use them for games and competitions to throw to each other. When they had their tribal ceremonies, their corroborees, they'd have two boomerangs used together as clapping sticks. That's an Aboriginal love song I'll teach you a bit later on. So you had 101 different uses for a dead boomerang.